Get ready for the news that's shaping our world, right now. Egypt's data center market is exploding, projected to grow nearly 19% annually, attracting massive investments from key players like ECC Solutions and Telecom Egypt, fueled by a digital economy strategy and new data protection laws. This incredible expansion is transforming Cairo and beyond, with major funding secured by COSNA data centers and a surge in cloud migrations driving unprecedented demand.
Never get caught with a dead phone again. This INIU portable charger is compact, travel-friendly, and gives you fast 45-watt charging with a built-in USB-C cable, so there's no need to carry extra cords. With 10,000 mAh power, it's perfect for busy days, trips, emergencies, or anytime your battery drops too low. Grab yours on Amazon through the link in the comments before your phone hits 1%.
And in Wisconsin, a major regulatory decision is sending shockwaves through the energy sector. State utility regulators have rejected a proposal to make ratepayers foot the bill for new power plants serving energy-hungry data centers. We Energies and Microsoft are reacting to a ruling that demands these tech giants, including the massive campus in Mount Pleasant, bear the full cost of their bespoke power generation, a decision praised by environmental advocates. Across the nation, local governments are in a mad dash to attract data centers, often facing backlash from their own constituents. In Virginia, communities are grappling with proposals for huge data center campuses sprouting up next to historic Civil War battlefields and precious farmlands. Concerns are mounting over tripling energy demands and the vast infrastructure overhaul needed, sparking fierce debates about zoning and the potential race to the bottom for regulations. Finally, the financial impact of these data centers is coming into sharp focus. Wisconsin is set to forego over $2 billion in sales tax revenue to subsidize hyperscale facilities built by tech giants like Microsoft and Meta. This eye-watering figure, driven by a sales tax exemption, is fueling calls for new regulations and a potential extraordinary session to reevaluate the state's incentives. Don't miss a moment. Hit that like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Egypt's burgeoning data center market is on a rapid expansion trajectory, projected to grow at an impressive compound annual growth rate of 18.97% from 2025 to 2031. This significant surge is underpinned by strategic governmental support through the ICT 2030 strategy and a robust digital economy agenda, all overseen by the National Telecommunications Regulatory Authority. The recent implementation of the Personal Data Protection Law 151 of 2020 is a key catalyst, bolstering data security and fostering greater investor and customer confidence. Cairo currently dominates the landscape, hosting 9 of the nation's 13 operational co-location centers, with an additional 9 facilities in various development phases across the country. The market is already seeing substantial investment, exemplified by COSNA data centers securing a $2.62 billion funding round to fuel expansion. This growth is further amplified by Egypt's accelerating digitalization, evidenced by approximately 121 million active cellular mobile connections and an internet penetration rate of 82.7% as of early 2026. Businesses across various sectors are increasingly migrating their IT infrastructure to cloud platforms for enhanced efficiency and cost reduction, driving demand for data center services. Key players in this dynamic market include IT infrastructure providers like Arista Networks, Cisco, and NVIDIA, alongside colocation giants such as ECC Solutions, Egypt, and Telecom Egypt. The vendor landscape also features a strong ecosystem of support infrastructure providers and construction firms, ensuring comprehensive development capabilities. Global cloud service providers are also prioritizing investment in Egypt to meet the growing demand for cloud, AI, and other digital services. With an estimated market value of $305 billion in 2025, projected to reach $865 billion by 2031, Egypt's data center market presents a significant opportunity for investment and innovation. State utility regulators have delivered a significant ruling, rejecting a proposal that would have forced general ratepayers to shoulder the costs of new power plants built specifically for data centers. The Public Service Commission, PSC, decided Friday that data centers within We Energy's service territory must bear the full expense of new, bespoke power generation designed to meet their considerable energy demands. This decision aims to prevent undue financial harm to existing customers, with Commission Chair Summer Strand emphasizing the risks and uncertainties that would have impacted non-very large customers. The approved tariff will govern how major data center operations, including Microsoft's Mount Pleasant campus and Vantage's Port Washington facility, manage their power needs and associated infrastructure costs. Both We Energies and Microsoft have voiced strong approval, with We Energy's parent company, WEC Energy Group, highlighting the ruling's reinforcement of their commitment to ensuring data centers pay their fair share. Microsoft's Senior Director of Energy Markets, Jeff Riles, welcomed the PSC's decision, affirming the company's dedication to covering its operational costs and protecting other ratepayers. Environmental and consumer advocacy groups have also lauded the PSC's move. Clean Wisconsin attorney Brett Court called it a positive moment for the regulation of hyperscale data centers, predicting lower bills and cleaner air for families. The Citizens Utility Board echoed these sentiments, noting that customer interests are now in a better place, following crucial changes recommended by advocacy groups. The PSC also modified We Energy's proposed contract, or tariff, to mitigate transmission cost burdens on other ratepayers. Commissioners rejected We Energy's capacity-only option, which would have had data centers pay 75% of infrastructure costs, with other customers absorbing the remaining 25% of construction and 100% of fuel costs. Commissioner Marcus Hawkins warned this would front-load costs onto customers and introduce stranded asset risk. A revised billing approach for transmission costs, a minimum billing demand charge, was approved, requiring data centers to pay transmission fees based on their projected or actual power use, whichever is higher. This measure is intended to accelerate the recoupment of new transmission infrastructure costs from data centers and insulate other ratepayers if data centers fail to meet projected load needs. The PSC also extended the minimum contract length for data centers to 15 years, down from the proposed 10, and lowered the threshold for the VLC tariff applicability to facilities with 100 megawatts of power demand, down from 500 megawatts. Further adjustments include allowing data centers to subscribe to out-of-state power sources and modifying credit requirements for collateral exemptions. The PSC will issue a formal written ruling to codify these decisions. Local governments across Virginia are grappling with a surge in data center development, often fast-tracking approvals despite growing concerns from residents about the industry's significant environmental and land use impacts. These massive digital infrastructure projects, proposed near residential areas, historic farmlands, cemeteries, and even Civil War battlegrounds, are straining local regulatory capacities. The exponential growth of data centers is tripling energy demands within Dominion Energy's service area, necessitating extensive land transformation for both the facilities themselves and the vast supporting infrastructure for power and water. While localities possess tools to mitigate issues like noise, pollution, and resource strain through zoning and regulations, research indicates a tendency to relax these controls in a bid to capture substantial tax revenues. This race to the bottom, as described by economist Joe A. Pound O. Ferreira, can lead to data centers prioritizing financial convenience over community benefit. Environmental advocates, including the Piedmont Environmental Council, are pushing for a moratorium on new proposals, highlighting that Virginia already hosts an unprecedented number of data centers. Experts warn that even if stringent regulations are enacted, data center construction will likely continue, shifting to jurisdictions with less oversight, a scenario seen as detrimental. The total land footprint, including essential infrastructure, can be 100 times the size of the data center buildings themselves, with Dominion Energy facing applications for a staggering 70 gigawatts of electricity, nearly tripling its peak load. This immense demand necessitates billions in new energy infrastructure. State budget discussions are currently stalled over ending data centers sales and use tax exemption, which saved them $928 million in 2023. Battles over data center siting are frequently playing out in courtrooms and contentious local hearings, notably concerning proximity to protected Civil War battlefields. Legal challenges, such as those against the Prince William Digital Gateway, have seen some success, with a rezoning for a massive facility near Manassas National Battlefield Park being struck down. Similar concerns about transparency and proper legal process are being raised in Orange County regarding the Wilderness Crossing development. In Culpeper County, proposals near newly protected battlefield sites have faced community resistance, leading to withdrawals or relocation to designated tech zones. However, even within these zones, residents are forming coalitions to advocate for mitigating impacts like noise and pollution, and express frustration over what they perceive as a lack of transparency and preferential treatment for developers, citing evidence of non-disclosure agreements that limit public participation. As the public becomes more aware of these issues, political backlash is growing, underscoring the lengthy process required to enact effective policies for data center mitigation, a process that can span years. Wisconsin is facing a projected loss of over $2 billion in sales tax revenue due to tax breaks granted to hyperscale data centers operated by tech giants like Microsoft and Meta. The 2023-25 state budget, approved by both Republican lawmakers and Democratic Governor Tony Evers, included a sales tax exemption for these facilities as a bid to spur economic development. This exemption means major projects, including a $1 billion facility in Beaver Dam, a $20 billion complex in Mount Pleasant, and a $15 billion plant in Port Washington, are not required to pay the 5% state sales tax or local sales taxes on construction and equipment purchases. Initially, the scale of the data center boom was so uncertain that the nonpartisan Legislative Fiscal Bureau did not provide a revenue loss estimate when the budget passed in July 2023. However, a recent projection indicates the state will forego approximately $1.5 billion in state sales tax revenue during the construction phases, with an additional $369 million lost annually once these facilities are operational. These estimates encompass data centers currently under construction or planned in Beaver Dam, Port Washington, and Mount Pleasant, along with a smaller EPIC project in Verona. The necessity of the tax incentive for these data centers to choose Wisconsin remains a point of discussion. Economist Ross Milton from the University of Wisconsin-Madison suggests that these massive investments would likely not materialize in the state without such incentives, given that 38 other states offer similar tax breaks to attract data center development. Wisconsin itself provides exemptions for a wide range of goods and services, including grocery store food, which is projected to reduce state revenue by $920 million in 2024. Tricia Braun, executive director of the Wisconsin Data Center Coalition, argues that the Fiscal Bureau's projection overlooks the broader economic benefits, such as taxes paid by companies supplying the data centers. Recent reports show that just 3 Wisconsin companies have generated over $1 billion in revenue from supplying data centers. Jason Stein of the Wisconsin Policy Forum believes the state has significant opportunities to recoup the foregone revenue through various taxes, including those from construction worker spending, income taxes of workers and employers, and corporate and utility taxes. The substantial revenue impact has spurred calls for greater data center regulation. State Senator Jody Habush-Sinekin is advocating for an extraordinary legislative session to discuss potential benefits the state could receive in return for the exemption, such as environmental protections. Meanwhile, the national trend in data center legislation is shifting from solely incentives towards regulation, with a significant decrease in incentive-focused bills introduced in recent years. Some states, like Minnesota, have begun to restrict or repeal their data center sales tax exemptions. Data center opponent Sean Haney expressed concern over the unforeseen magnitude of these projects and suggested that the foregone revenue could be better utilized for critical infrastructure needs, such as road repairs.